Hi everyone, welcome to Optimized FPL. I will be going through some Game Week 8 wildcards that I've made through the solver function in Excel and projected points that were provided by Fantasy Football Hub. Let's take a look at the methods used for these drafts. So as we can see here, we have all of the players that I think are players that should be considered for FPL. There's about 200 of them. There's about 197 actually. And this category right here is projected points. This is taken from the projections that are given by FPL or from Fantasy Football Hub. And what it basically does is it takes all this data, I go to the data, I go to solver, and it has all of these rules that it cannot break, and it gives me the most optimized team to get the most points out of that. And then it gives me the projections down here. I put the cost at 83 million. That's basically, the idea is that every team starts with 100 million, and you put about 17 million of that on your bench, with subs that are low cost players. So everybody should be able to get this team. It's very possible that every single person can get the team that I've created in overall. So if we look at the Wildcard 8 drafts, the way this was designed was basically that the dream team was basically the best possible team every single week. So it takes one game week's information and it gives me the best possible team, including the captain. Game week 8 to 15 was the best possible team. Like this one, for example, is the best game week 8 team. This is the best game week 8 and 9 team. This is the best game week 8 and 10 week, and so on and so forth, all the way up to 15. Now the problem with this method is it puts a lot of emphasis on game week 8 and the earlier game weeks. So like, for example, like let's say Martinez, I don't know exactly what his fixture is, but let's say he has a really good game week that week. Well, that could make him more valuable than, let's say, like Ramsdale is over the next few weeks. So what I've done here is that I've done the same thing for all these, but I've started each one on a different game week. So this is game week 9, this is game week 9, this is game week 9 to 10, this is game week 9 to 11, so on and so forth, all the way to 15. I've done that all the way down from 9 all the way to 15. And yeah, so I've done that with, this is the no restriction side. I have no restrictions on any of the players here. On this side, however, I put restrictions for the goalkeeper. I made it so that way it can't be more than 5 million, and I made it so that the defense, attack, and midfield all can't be more than 45 million each. So you couldn't have like Salah, De Bruyne, Son, Sterling, and I don't know, Mane all in the same team, because that would just be silly. Nobody has that team, and it'd be crazy to do it. So yeah, those are the restrictions I put on this side, which really didn't change too much of the outcomes, but yeah. Then what I did is that I used the count functions to basically count all of the players that are in these boxes here. So all of the players in these boxes were counted by the function here. You can't see it, because it's on this page is where I used the count function. This is the function I used. It counts all of the players in this big group. And if it counted 1, then I kept it on here, and if it counted 0, I just deleted them off the sheet, because they weren't necessary. So yeah, so that's the methods that came with it. Let's look at the teams that were created out of it, and I can give you my opinions on them. Okay, so this is the team that the team with no restrictions gave us. It gave us Ederson in net. It gave us Kyle Walker and Diaz all in defense. So it really likes the Man City defense, which is pretty obvious. I feel like they have a really good defense, and their fixtures coming up are pretty good, so I'm not that surprised. Walker is a bit interesting, considering that he is not as nailed as I thought that Cancelo was, but I guess the projected points really think that he's going to be playing a lot of games. Trent Alexander-Arnold, obviously the best 7.5 million player probably in the game. Defender is absolutely amazing, creates the most chances, understandable. Same with Rudiger, Chelsea defense really good, so the defense is not something that I'm really too shocked by, if I'm being totally honest. It's more where the midfield and attacks are happening. Most teams I feel like prefer to go on like a 3-4-3. So this system really liked the 4-3-3. I think it's because the defenders had so many projected points, because they're projected to get so many clean sheets in the next few fixtures. But yeah, so if we look at the attack and midfield, we can see that Tony and Mbuemo are there. I guess they really like the Brentford attack, which is perfectly honest, makes sense to me. I have Tony in my own personal team, so that's not really that surprising. But yeah, so Tony, not an unsurprising pick. It makes total sense to me. So yeah, he's in the team. And Mbuemo also makes total sense. Out of position striker, been playing really well, got good fixtures, and yeah, makes total sense to me again. Yeah, so then we also have the two Leeds boys in Rafinha and Bamford. I guess once Bamford is back in contention after his injury, I guess the fixtures are really good for them. Leeds, they really love Leeds. They love Bamford. I guess at his price, he's also a very good enabler. Same with Rafinha. Just by the way, these are all the prices you see on screen are not the actual prices. Like for example, like DS and Rudiger might be cheaper than what they are showing, but I used the prices that are actually available. So like Rudiger is 5.8, Rafinha is 6.6, and yeah, those examples. But yeah. If we keep looking at the rest of the team, we have Son and Kane. I guess these are the two like big hitters, if you will, in the team. Yeah, I mean, Spurs fixtures coming up are pretty good, so I'm not really that surprised. It really likes Kane. The system absolutely loves Kane, which is really surprising considering his form, but, you know, it is what it is. It's interesting to see, to say the least, but, yeah, I think it's a very interesting team. I think the biggest problem with this team is that it has no Salah. That's really the main problem with this team, in my opinion. Having no Salah in that team is absolutely a death wish. The man is absolutely on incredible form. So I definitely wouldn't go without him, to say the least. But yeah, this is the team with no restrictions. Let's look at the team that had restrictions. Like a 5.0 keeper was the max, and there was no like crazy midfielders or attacks that could be possibly happening. So yeah, let's look at that team. Okay, so this is what it spits out when you put on the restrictions. It's a pretty interesting team. I'm surprised. The player that really surprised me the most in this team is Meslier. I thought if I made it a 5.0 or less, I thought really Ramsdale or Saw were going to come out as the two main goalkeepers. But this system absolutely adores Meslier. I guess it loves the fixtures, and I guess it thinks that he's going to be getting a lot of saves in these games because Leeds defense are absolutely crap. So I guess it's not looking more at the clean sheets, but it's looking more at the save potential, and I guess their fixtures are pretty weak, so it's not surprising that they think that Leeds could keep a clean sheet here. And the other two players that are the three players that changed this team, other than Meslier, were Aarons, Grealish, and Salah. Aarons was a surprising one. I mean, he was only chosen once in the system, but I guess because the system only had 4.4 left to spend after picking all the rest of the players, it decided that Aarons was the best player. Which I guess is not that surprising. I mean, Norwich do have some pretty good fixtures coming up, but I would definitely never, ever recommend a Norwich defender. I mean, they have good fixtures, but I mean, come on, they're Norwich. They've been crap all season, so I wouldn't look to them for defensive stability. But I do like the fact that it brought in Salah. I think that he's a really great player for his price, especially at 12.7. I know it says 12.6, but that's what I got him at. But yeah, Salah at 12.7 is just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I could see him going up to 13 million this game by the end of the year, so he's an absolutely amazing player, and their fixtures, it doesn't even matter what his fixtures are, he's playing every single game for me. Grealish I also found was pretty interesting. I guess it's because he's played so many games so far. He's played every single game so far in the league. But I think the addition of Phil Foden to the Man City team, I think that he could be potentially a better option at the same price. Grealish at 7.9 and Foden at 7.9 as well. Yeah, so I just think that Foden could potentially be a better player, but I guess we'll have to wait and see how that pans out. I'm going to show you guys my personal Game Week 8 wildcard if I was going to wildcard this week. And yeah, let me know how you guys think about it. So let's get into that. Okay, welcome back. So yeah, this is the team that I've decided would be the best, in my opinion, for the wildcard this week. It gives you Ramsdale in net. I think Arsenal's fixtures long-term are really good. And I've basically picked out the 5 of the top 6 teams. The only team we're missing here is Manchester United. That's because their fixture run is super hard. So yeah, Rudiger, obviously Chelsea defense, everyone's talking about them. They're amazing. It's not surprising he's in the team. Trent Alexander-Arnold can get points any game. Absolutely nailed player, just fantastic player overall. Cancelo as well, absolutely amazing player. The interesting one for me that I put in here is Reguilon. I think that Spurs fixtures are really good, and I think that's why I like Son so much. But because this team can't really afford Son, I thought I'd bring in a different type of Spurs asset, and I thought a defender is actually not a bad idea because Nuno's defensive tactics he's a very defensive manager, so I wouldn't be surprised if they kept a couple of clean sheets in the upcoming games. And yeah, I think Reguilon has the best chances for assists, so I don't think he's a bad pick, to be honest. And it leaves us with 0.1 million in the bank, so if we wanted to change that defender to anybody else, it doesn't really matter. Livramento, definitely the best enabler in the game. For defense at least, just absolutely amazing. Maybe Duffy instead, but other than that, it's pretty close. And Mbeumo and Tony, like I said before, fantastic players. I think they have great fixtures, so I'm not really that surprised by it. other than the Chelsea fixture, obviously, which is going to be kind of hard. But after that, they got some really good fixtures. Leeds and Rafinha have great fixtures. I'm a little bit worried that he might be coming back a little bit late from the Brazil team, so we have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, 6.6 million. I think he's still a fantastic player, and I don't see why he wouldn't be in anybody's team. I think he's one of the best valued players in the game. So yeah, definitely would recommend. Salah and I think even Lukaku at this point have to be in every wildcard team. I mean, Chelsea's fixture is just too amazing. I think he's going to be captain too often to not have him in the team, and Salah is just an absolute beast. Honestly, set and forget Salah captain could be one of the best plays the whole year. So, yeah, he's been absolutely amazing. So I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be surprised if anybody kept him out of the team. It'd be absolutely ridiculous if he wasn't in your wildcard team. The last two players might be a little bit more controversial, but I think that Jimenez, with Wolves fixtures, is a really good player. I was thinking that Marcel could actually be another player that they bring in, but honestly, Reguilon I think is just better, and you have that extra 0.5 million to play with, and that's assuming that you have 100 million. So obviously, if you have more money, you could upgrade Reguilon to whoever you want. If you wanted to upgrade Foden to say Son, if you had the money, that would be also something that I would probably try to do. But yeah, these are just ideas that I have that any single player can do, assuming that they haven't lost value in their team, which I feel like would be quite difficult to do at this point in the season. So as long as you just have at least the minimum, like what you had at the beginning of the game, then you should be able to afford this team. But yeah, last up on the team is Foden. Manchester City's fixture run is just fantastic. I'd be surprised if he wasn't playing a lot of games. Now that he's back, I think that him and Grealish are going to probably be sharing the wing spaces, and De Bruyne's going to be in the middle. But there's so much rotation in that City team. It's hard to nail down one player, especially since like Jack Grealish made sense that he was playing every game because Foden and De Bruyne were both out injured. But now that they're both back, I'd be surprised if Grealish kept playing every single game. And I think Foden has a more better attacking potential. So I think that he's a better pick overall than Grealish. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, these are three teams that I think that are interesting to look at, and yeah, it gives you an idea of what to do for your wild card if you wanted to look at it from an optimized point of view, where you're trying to get the best point projections in your team for the next 8 game weeks. So thanks for watching, everybody. Please feel free to subscribe, and if you want to leave any comments about the teams, let me know, or my methods that I use to get the teams. And yeah, thanks a lot. Cheers, everyone.